Okay, good morning, respected Professor. Thank you very much for being the examiners for the oral dissertation proposal examination today, hosted by the Ph.D. LT program, Faculty of Humanities and Social Sciences, Rajabhat University. Associate Professor Dr. Pragasit Sitthitikul from Asst University, and he is also the regional representative of Asia TOEFL, and Associate Professor Dr. Akkarapon, Nuemaihom, the Dean of Faculty of Humanities and Social Sciences, and the Chair of Ph.D. in ELT from Rajabhat University, Assistant Professor Dr. Nawamin Prachanant, the Vice President of International Affairs, Rajabhat University, Dr. Saowarot Ruangphaisan from English Program, Faculty of Education, Rajabhat University, and Assistant Professor Dr. Atikhom Thienthong from Western Languages and Literature, Faculty of Liberal Arts, Rajabhat University. Thank you very much. We use the microphone. And the topic of the dissertation proposal is development of instructional model based on integrated writing approaches to enhance Thai university students' writing ability. Yes, under the supervision of Assistant Professor Dr. Nawamin Prachanant, the advisor, and Dr. Saowarot Ruangphaisan, the co-advisor. Yes. And the outline of the dissertation, I would like to start with the introduction, and then literature review, and the third part is research methodology. Okay, I would like to start with writing. In general, writing is one of the 4 primary language ability that language learners need to acquire. This skill is crucial for assisting students in communicating and understanding how language functions. Writing is essential skill for students since it improves both critical and creative writing, which serve as a tool for communicating with readers with specific aims such as informing, persuading, responding, and reflecting on information. Writing is the activity where the student or the author transfer their thought from word by words to sentence, sentences to paragraph, and paragraphs to essay. Writing emerges as one of the crucial ability in learning foreign language and involves of the formation of idea, knowledge, and experience with the subject. Consequently, one of the main goals of teaching English as a foreign language is to assist students in mastering the skill of writing and enable them to write effectively, especially in the field of English language teaching. Accordingly, there are some scholars that create the teaching method. For example, Hammers, he outlined the teaching methods such as grammar translate method, direct method, audio-lingual method, presentation practice and production, communicative language teaching, task-based learning, lexical approach, and teachers and students in dialogue teaching, a dialogue together. The problems in writing. Writing appears to be the most challenging of the 4 language skills. It necessitates the writer's mastery of a particular vocabulary, grammar, and schema structure. As a result, the student in writing classroom typically lack motivation. The difficulty of writing is also a result of how writers produce ideas. This necessitates the use of appropriate terminology and sentence structure, as well as paragraph organization, to produce understandable material. When a foreign language is involved, the level of difficulty is considerably higher because of the inconsistencies between the linguistic and rhetorical patterns used in their first and second languages. Writing can be considered one of the most difficult tasks for the majority of ESL or EFL students. University students are required to write English works such as paragraph, essay, and short stories. Also, they write many types of essay, such as descriptive, narrative, comparison and contrast, cause and effect, and persuasive essay. The challenges that the student face are caused by a variety of factors, including inherent difficulty of writing, insufficient practice, inadequate input, and the student information limitations. Many studies have been conducted to investigate the difficulty and their causes in writing skill among Thai students. And the result of those studies reveal that the students have the problem in using grammar, vocabulary, syntax, and organization. As the importance of being able to write in a second or foreign language has grown in recent years, several approaches to writing, such as product, process, and process-product approach emerged, and this has been the focus of second or foreign language scholar. And writing approach are essential in every writing lessons. Without an approach, the writing classroom will move in multiple directions. So the goal set for the particular lesson will not be achievable. As a result, writing approach are very important to meet the goals of the lesson. There are several writing approaches have been applied in writing classes, including content-based writing, process writing approach, product-based approach, genre-based approach, and process genre approach, the combination of the process and the genre. Writing is a complex process that requires a lot of effort and creativity. So to produce quality content, students need to employ different writing approaches. So using only one approach may limit the writer's ability to express their idea effectively. According to Highland and Batcher and White, they propose that an integrated approach could help improve weaknesses of each approach. The integrated writing approach refers to the teaching of writing skill through a combination of techniques and strategies of writing. For example, the integrated writing approach is the process genre approach. It is the integration of the concept of the process and the genre-based approach proposed by Batcher and White in 2000. The characteristic of the process is focus on the process, such as pre-writing, drafting, revision, and editing. And while the genre approach focus on the purpose and the certain text vision that adopted in writing. According to Hassan and Akkarapon, balancing approaches in writing class by combining approach can facilitate and support students in developing writing tasks and help them reach the goal of lesson effectively. The strength of each approach can complement each other to help teachers to develop learners' writing competence by providing appropriate input of knowledge and skill in writing procedure. And writing teachers need to incorporate the insight of three approaches suggested by Tang Pongpuehee, such as product, process, and genre into the writing class. So according to the mentioned information, the previous research and scholars have reported the benefit of several writing approaches to enhance writing skill, but a little attention have been given to the integration of free writing approach to construct an instructional model based on integrated writing approaches to develop student writing ability. As a result, the researcher is interested to conduct this research to develop a writing instructional model based on integrated writing approaches to enable students to produce more effective written works and reach higher achievement in their writing. Accordingly, the research objective will be as follows. First, to analyze need and problem on English writing skill of Thai university students. Second, to design and develop instructional model. Third, to investigate the effectiveness of the developed instructional model. Fourth, to evaluate the developed instructional model. According to the objective, there are 6 questions. First, what are the problems on English skill, writing skill of the student measuring in English, HUSOC-BRU? What are needs? Second, what are needs on development of the instructional model? Third, what are the characteristics of the instructional model? Fourth, what is the effectiveness of the instructional model? Fifth, is there any difference between the students' achievement of the experimental group and the control group after using the instructional model? Sixth, what are the students' satisfaction toward the instructional model after they learn by the model? The significance of the study, if the instructional model based on the integrated approach can improve the student ability, so it might be beneficial for the teacher to use as the teaching material. And the finding of this study will assist students at Rajabhat University to improve their writing ability. For the research variable, the independent variable is the instructional model based on integrated writing approach, and the dependent variable is the student writing ability. Next, I would like to present the literature review. The researcher reviewed the concept and theory on writing problems in writing, writing approach, integrated writing approach, essay, instructional model construction, how to teach writing, evaluation and assessment for writing related study and conceptual framework. Yes. What about the problems in writing and their costs were reviewed. And next, the writing approach. Researcher reviewed the content-based writing. There are 3 types of content-based, theme-based, shelter model, and adjunct model. And it's the integration of content and language in teaching. The process approach is the method of writing focused on the process than the product, and usually comprised of some basic process like planning, drafting, revising, and editing. The product approach is the approach that focuses on the product and using the appropriate use of the vocab, syntax, and cohesive device. And there are 4 stages: familiarization, control writing, guided writing, and free writing. For genre-based writing, genre approach is the social and cultural practice, and the purpose of this writing involves the context where writing occurs. The convention of the target discourse community, and it focuses on the discourse feature. And there are 3 main steps: modeling a text, joint constructing of a text, and independent construction of a text. Process genre approach is the combination of the process and the genre-based approach, and there are some steps in this approach, such as preparation, modeling, and reinforcing, planning, joint constructing, independent constructing, and revising. The integrating writing approach refers to the teaching of writing skill through a combination of techniques and strategy. And Highland and Basher and White propose that integrating approach would help is simplify weakness of each approach. The example of the integrated writing approach that most scholars use in their classroom is process genre approach. And also the researcher reviewed the related studies. according to the writing approach. For the conceptual framework, in this study, we start from the analysis of the writing approach to find it outstanding or practical element of each approach to be the integrated writing approach, and also the problem in writing will be analyzed. This is the analysis phase, and then the integrated writing approaches and the problem will be brought to the design, development, and implementation and evaluation to find the effectiveness, student achievement, and student satisfaction. Next, I would like to present the research methodology. For the research design of this study will be research and development, which the step research 1, development 1, research 2, and development 2. According to Watch and Gall, research and development are process used to create and validate educational products. And R&D is a research design for creating educational products like curriculum, syllabus, and textbook. And it's include the cycle R1, D1, R2, D2. And according to the R&D, so this study will be divided into 4 phases. Phase 1 is the analysis. Phase 2, development. Phase 3, implementation. And phase 4, evaluation. And the instructional system design or ADDI will be applied in this study. And another model is Dick and Carey instructional design model. The researcher used the ADDI and the Dick and Carey model because it's the well-known approach used for instructional construction. And this one is the mix of the ADDI and Dick and Carey instructional model from analysis. And there will be 2 elements, 3 steps in Dick and Carey model: design, development, and evaluation. So the research procedure will divide into 4 phases accordingly. Analysis, will be according to ADDI analysis. Phase 2, development, design and development. Phase 3 will be R2 phase. Phase 3, implementation of instructional model. And ADDI model will use the implementation. And phase 4, evaluation of the instructional model will be the evaluation in ADDI model. And next, according to the research objective and the research question of phase 1, the researcher reviewed the concept of the problem in writing, and then administer the questionnaire to the sample and randomly select some sample to be interviewed, and the result will show the problems and the need on development of instructional model. Phase 2 will be the development, and according to the objective, this phase will be the design and development. So the result of phase 1, the problems will be bring to the design, and another one is writing approach that will be analyzed to be the integrated writing approach, and then the researcher will design according to the result from phase 1 and the integrated writing approach, and develop the instructional model. After that, we'll find the effectiveness, and the researcher will conduct the pilot study after that. Phase 3 is the implementation of the instructional model. According to the objective, is to investigate the effectiveness of the model. And there are 2 questions. So this one will use the 2 group pre-test, post-test, post-site experimental research by divide the sample into 2 groups and then do the pre-test. and experimental group will learn by the instructional model. By the control group will learn through the traditional teaching approach, and then they will do the post test, and the experimental group will do the questionnaire and interview to find their satisfaction and opinion toward the model. And the last phase is the developmental, is the evaluation. So according to the objective and the question, the sample will be two groups, experimental group and control group. Then they will do the pre-test, and experimental group will learn by the model, and control group will learn by traditional approach, and then they will do the post-test, and the experimental group will fill in the questionnaire and randomly selected to interview, find their satisfaction and opinion. The population of this study will be the student at Rajabhat University in English program, and the sample will be the second year who study English writing course. Okay, and they selected by using purposive sampling. And for phase 1, the instrument will be the questionnaire and interview, and the data collection we use the survey method, and the data analysis we use the descriptive statistic. Phase 2 the researcher will employ the writing approach table that apply from Highland table. The instructional model achievement test, open-ended questionnaire, and semi-structured interview will be used in the pilot study. This one we use the documentary research for the analyzing the writing approach, and one group pre-test, post-test experimental design will be used in pilot study. The statistic will be the descriptive statistic and content analysis for the interview. Phase 3 implementation. The researcher will apply the instructional model, achievement test, open-ended questionnaire, and semi-structural interview. And the design will be the two group pre-test, post-test, cross-site experimental research design. And the statistic will be the descriptive statistic, mean SD t-test, independent sample t-test, and the interview will be analyzed by content analysis. And the last phase will be the evaluation, and the researcher will use the instructional model, achievement test, open-ended questionnaire, and semi-structural interview. And the data collection will use the design to group pre-test, post-test, cross-site experimental design. And the analysis will use the statistic, descriptive statistic, and content analysis for analyze the interview. And this is the whole picture of the study. Okay, phase 1 to analyze the problem, phase 2 to design and development, phase 3 to implement, and to get the feedback and the information, and the last phase will be evaluation to improve the model again and to test it again. Yes, that's the presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your presentation, Dr. Sittisak. I think this is a great study. Why? Because it is classified as a research and development design with 4 phases. Okay, and I'm sure that after you finish your thesis, okay, it will give a big impact on the ERT.
Thank you.
Because you're creating some innovation. However, there are quite a few things, okay, that need to be improved before we allow you to collect data. First of all, I'd like to you take a look at the title. Development of instructional model based on integrated writing process. Generally speaking, when we judge or evaluate research articles, the first thing is that you should use the research title that reflects the content of the study. From the title itself, I think my first impression was that you are going to use the approach that is called integrated writing approaches. But in reality, you are going to use different teaching writing approaches, okay, and by identifying the strengths and weaknesses, okay, of these approaches, right, and try to adapt, okay, something good and remove something that is not good, right?
Yes.
And to propose. So the first thing is that maybe development of a proposed instructional model. And as I told you, the term integrated writing approaches can be misleading. Okay, I think this can be spelled out, okay, in the paper. Think about the broader term of these approaches, genre approach, okay, product process. This can be classified as cognitive, okay, language teaching. Maybe you use this term, is better, okay. In my opinion, anyway, I don't mind. This is only my suggestion, and not to hear from other community members. And to me, it will be better, okay, for you to use acronym of your proposed instructional model. Like, for example, I found an article, the researcher used effectiveness of SWB writing approach. This is your own approach, okay? So you should make it unique. SWB stands for Scholarly Writing Builder, okay? This is the proposed instructional model by the Thai researcher, okay, with the purpose to teach Thai students to write research papers, because she found that Thai graduate students have problems in writing research papers. So she tries to develop, okay, a new instructional model to help them write research papers. In your case, I know what you are doing, but the title may be a little bit unclear. It's going to be your own, instructional model. Try to think of the main features of your model.
Yes.
It may reflect the purpose of your model, like in this one. The SWB, when we look at the full name, scholarly writing build, we know that, and this will help us write research papers. You may look at the intention of the model that you are going to build, okay, or you may consider the subject of your proposed model. So this is something for you to think about. The first thing is to look at the main features of your proposed model. You can use the S, for example, no, want to know, okay, you ask something like that, okay, but this for reading. But in your case, you have to think about the acronym to reflect. And it's going to be your copyrighted model. So you should be unique, okay? Because you are doing R&D, which is a very good research design. Why don't you make it unique, right? If you put it general like this, people don't remember your name, right? Maybe S, Sittisak, the bill, whatever. And the second one, I have two main issues for you to think about. I think the proposed model, I don't see the graph, the sound rationale, okay, in proposing this model. What you did, okay, is just to look at different writing approaches, right? Three,
yes.
One content-based instruction. Content-based is for reading.
For
teaching reading.
For content-based, because the content-based is the instruction now method that mix between the content and the language.
Then rate reading comprehension at second level content. It has nothing to do with writing.
In content-based instruction, because the student they have the problems, they have the problem in writing that they lack of the idea or the content. So that if the teacher apply the content-based instruction, so the teacher can have the student to do the mini research or to retrieve more information about their topic that they will write about. So the content-based will start with that process. So it can be the thematic approach. Yes.
Part of instruction.
Yes.
You review different approaches, right? And
yes.
You concluded that you will use these three approaches. That's why you use the term integrated writing process, right? From three approaches.
Yes.
Actually, to do this, to propose a new model, what you should do is number one, you look at previous studies on writing. Okay, researchers use different approaches, right? And we have to look at their recommendations. Okay, for example, researchers who use genre approach to teach writing skill for Thai students. After they implemented this approach and they reported the finding at the end. Some researchers may give suggestions to use this approach with Thai students. This approach is not effective. It's not practical. If you can find something like like this recommendations from previous research, you keep in mind. This is something that may not be practical with Thai students. By considering recommendations from previous researchers. Now you have ideas. Even though there are so many writing approaches that we can use, but of course, nothing is perfect. This approach may not be practical in the sense that this approach may not be effective in the sense that, and then you compile this recommendation. You propose a new model. Because then you review many approaches. It's really a summary. You didn't provide an analysis that will pave the way for you. To propose a new teaching model. You understand what I mean? So I thought you should do this, and then if you have this rationale, and you can think of the name of your proposed model. That should be the beginning. Because I'm not sure if you don't have such ideas and you try to implement something and you test. So I don't know how this new proposed model come from, right? I understand the first phase is to analyze the needs, right, and problems. What do you get if you believe me? Something very general. For grammatical, no idea, something like that. And you may not be able to think of something different. If your proposed model is the same, or not, quite different, there is nothing for us to use your proposed model, right? Because in reality, teachers adopt the idea of effective system. That means we use a variety of teaching techniques to teach not only one. But in this case, I think you should be doing that.
Can you explain some? Because actually we talk each other and example. We will choose the strengths of each technique together when we selected but actually, we will focus on process writing, right? Okay, put some techniques from genre, from product, or something like that. So just you mentioned, okay, maybe it's not integrated writing, maybe it's more words, okay, but we will talk later. And I think that maybe we can talk to the committee.
Yeah, that's only my suggestion, and let me jump to the second issue, and then I will ask Atikhom to add, and about the R&D, okay, you provide us with the concept of doing R&D, which are very relaxed, okay. That I don't see many students, okay, I mean ERT students, use this design, okay, but for each stage, participants can be different to identify needs and problems. So for each phase, you should include who will be the participants. You cannot talk about participants in general because in each phase, participants can be different. Okay, maybe a phase one to identify needs and problems. Not necessarily second year student can be Thai student what problems they have in writing and also you use document analysis by reading research study about different approaches and you try to come up with something as recommended ideas for you to use in your proposed model. And phase 2 now and phase 3, which is implementation. Okay, that will be the second year student. Okay, so the present can be different in different phases. To identify needs and problems, you can ask a stakeholders, a teacher, instructors, because they teach, they know the problem of the students from different angles, and then you have a broader perspective, okay,
Yes.
Reflecting the problems and their needs more effectively.
So sorry, and sure. Is it possible that we can collect data? The student who used to study writing course, and the second one maybe graduates, from teachers.
That should be a university student because the target, because if you match together, you ask student a university student in general, and then you can put that student at your university also encounter similar problems, because you should make a contribution to a wider university student, not
Yes.
you. So problem university student can ask teacher who teach, and and then you come up with the problem. These are the problems that still existing, even though there have been many studies trying to help students to improve their writing by using different approaches. But some of them, some approaches have drawbacks.
Yes.
Now, this approach, made better, help students better in the sense that, for example, previous existing approach, they don't focus on helping students with grammatical element. Your model, you spend more time with this. You see, we had a problem and then try to solve it. That will, justify your proposed model. And if you can do that, you will have a big impact. And maybe your advisor can propose it for the outstanding business. Traffic from
I will understand your research title. Use the word development. So I assume that you will have a model, right, as a result of your study, right?
Yes.
So I suggest that is it possible for you to use the word effectiveness or effect of the model instead of using the word development? Because development is a part of your part of your process. So I was wondering why you focus on only this word development. So when we use the word effects or effectiveness, I think it indicates that we implemented, right, the model and imply that you also develop the model. So I think it's possible.
Actually, if we adapt model, we can use effective effects, but maybe focus more on the model that we create, right? And the effects. So it can be both, but actually development is better, I think. And because the first one we focus on how to develop the model, and the second one how to look for the effectiveness of it. So when we focus on effectiveness, the ones, so we focus on actually that model may not from their creation, but just bring together.
To highlight that this study is research and development. I think I understand the point. Maybe both can be used, or another option, effectiveness of development.
Can be. So it's more conclusive. Not conclusive, more conclusive. It's like our term, yes, our term that imply development and design, right? If you use the word,
So if we use effects, okay, I will use develop. Okay,
yeah, on Thai student writing ability.
Yes.
So you can remove the phrase to enhance.
To enhance.
So one thing that I want to talk for the community opinions. Is it possible that we can add EFR, Thai or university students, because it's a focus on student who study English or Thai universities.
But to me, I like to use EFR.
You have Thai. Which one is that?
We can pass this to the Thai university, just use DLT students.
Or Thai student?
No, just DLT students, and we just describe key terms under the definition of key terms. It's too long, Thai university students. I think you shouldn't be enough. And then just give more explanation under the definition of key terms. So it makes sense. So regarding whatever proposed by Atikhom, I was interested in this title. I prefer the word effectiveness, right? Because when you're looking at on page 11, we under this objectives, all right, or this terms already mentioned in the objective, including that design, development, and effectiveness. So I do agree the effectiveness of this approach is long, So it can be okay. But I will keep develop, so we have to put somewhere as a chair.
Business of development.
And then another one, was maybe you can look for the words, right? As you mentioned.
The acronyms.
Yes. Maybe your names or your
It will reflect the status of your writing.
To me, I think it's not. I we don't have to include the author name in the title, but at the end of the paper, you may what's it?
Okay, it can be maybe
Because the topic should be meaningful and reflect the nature of the study.
It can be anything to make the reader clear.
Yeah.
Maybe start with the full name first.
May I share about this? I used to think about the acronym, and I think the powerful one may based on the element that I analyzed and selected from each approach. The element of benefit of each approach. I think it can be based on that.
Yeah, maybe it will come later.
Yes, yes.
Or maybe the title, okay, without approach something like that. Yeah, maybe this is a production of the author and the research.
There are two ways. This is one reason, but you got to highlight your innovation. Why not you? Right? So it depends. I don't mind. Because many research, if they create innovation, they want to show their product. But if you want to be humble, that's fine. You can.
Yes.
So please make clear on the title and effectiveness, right, of the developed, right, model, develop instructional model to enhance. If you don't want to use the I prefer Thai university students if they want to keep it. Yeah, the credit. Is it okay?
Can I listen to? It's quite broad.
No, but we will keep university because it's university level, right?
I think we have a strategy and then
Yeah, yeah.
so to me, it doesn't matter because Thai university students in Thailand, they study English as a foreign language. Because it's not, it doesn't matter.
It's a big matter.
So I repeat this one.
And you already
Effectiveness, right?
I usually all
Develop
Just
instructional model. Okay, to enhance a university student writing.
So it's a whole piece. โอเคครับ chapter 1 นะโอเคครับอาจารย์
you go first. I agree with I think your rationale is not solid, it's not convincing. Yeah. Because you tend to, in your background, you tend to focus on the linguistic or the grammatical aspect of writing. And to me, I think you should focus on the fact that why you want to develop this model. And you want to so I think you should focus on the problem that are associated with the approaches that you are going to implement in your study. In its current form now, I think you can focus on the linguistic aspect of the problem of writing. Because you want to implement different writing approaches, to solve that problem. So try to limit your background, your problem in relation to your writing, the writing approaches that you are going to implement in your study. I'm sure that you know that different approaches tend to focus different aspects of writing, right?
Yes.
For example, in your genre-based approach, we tend to focus on the social nature of writing. So in this approach, you can focus on the relationship between the writer and the reader, the readership, right? So you have to highlight the salient aspect of the approaches. And yet these approaches can determine the information about the problem in your study. So to me, I think you can focus on only linguistic aspect of the writing.
So it means I should present more information about the problem in writing by the university student.
Yeah, in relation to you should focus on the aspect which which are associated with writing approaches that you are going to implement. And I think, and at the same time, you have to remove some information from your introduction, especially. I think you don't have to compare writing with listening or other skill. You just focus on
Writing.
writing and trauma, right? That your student or general Thai student tend to encounter.
Yes.
And you have to focus on those problems in relation to the approaches that you are going to study. Is that clear to you? I'm not sure.
Yes. Actually, before I brief it into this new West draft or new West version, I discuss about the problems, and anyway I will add more information. Yeah, as
And you review a number of approaches on page 4. I think it's not necessary to make focus on what is lacking in the study, and you want to fill in and then the gap. Yeah, but you tend to pick up on writing in a general sense. You can see right on page on page 4
and 5.
Yes, I think it's quite simple. I think as I already mentioned. I include this name. And you didn't touch on why you use an instructional model, right?
Yes, I don't mention much about
a
that.
little bit on that. Why you want to use the
Instructional model.
instructional model to design your teaching and learning activity. And I know that you use a number of approaches, right? So that you can work, systematically. You might rely on the concept of instructional model, right? So that you can plan, you can organize your teaching and learning in a systematic way, right? And you have to give more information on
Instructional model.
on the fact that on why you need an instructional model.
I agree with the time. I think first of all, the work is good now. We commence to make it better now.
Yes.
Not because the work is not process of that part. But before you propose, because your intention is to propose something new to solve the problems. So you have to show that Thai students still have problems with writing, right? And then you support this by showing the results from your study, not only from your own opinion,
Yes.
to support a discipline, that helps us to read in writing skill, okay? And then you have to show that they have a problem, but there are so many previous study trying to teach this student a bit different way by using different model approaches. But still, this topic is still present, still remain. So we have a good reason. We try. We ask teacher, do not ignore the problem. We try. But it's still present. So maybe from reading, from the analysis of we study of different approaches. You try to pick the recommendation if we plan to use different approaches. But there's still some areas that might not be effective to teach to use.
Yes.
So that's why this is hard for you to try to find different solution in terms of the teaching approach, instructional approach, or model, and that is okay. So you draw this conclusion from reading recommendation from your study. I have found that these are the things that should be implemented more, or you add something. That's why you come up with develops.
Yes. Yes. May I?
Like logical order,
Yes.
information, so if you use the appropriate techniques, this will help you to write chapter 1, with the logical sequence, information, problem, solution, and then we talk about. It leaves some irrelevant information such as mentioned the first pages 4 5, because some teaching approaches that are not relevant to teaching writing. And writing skill Sittisak, you find in the dictionary plural form. I don't know why. Also, reading skills. Use it in the plural form.
Writing skills.
And the word research. I'm comfortable with the research. Research study. Yeah, sorry,
one, sorry. I think this is very important, and affecting the whole part of your paper.
Yes.
You should make clear which approach, so what kinds of knowledge are required by students to become a successful writer?
Oh yes. As the recommendations by many scholars. Yes. Using only one approach, the student will.
What types of knowledge do they need to have? I mean, what types of knowledge do students need to have to become a successful writer? So if you understand, I mean, all the types of knowledge are required or involved in writing, so you can focus on. And I'm sure that each approach tends to focus different aspects of writing or writing knowledge. Right? For example, students might need to have contextual knowledge or social knowledge, or they need to have knowledge about reader, and they need to have knowledge about the purpose of writing, and they need to have knowledge about themselves as a writer, and they need to have knowledge about their writing process itself. Right? And I'm sure that the writing approaches that you're going to implement in your study tend to focus or to emphasize different aspects of these pieces of knowledge.
Right.
So you need to focus or to
make it clear.
To restrict your video in relation to the types of knowledge. So maybe one is made from techniques. But in the introduction part, it tended to focus on only in aspect of writing. I think it's very narrow. Yes, narrow look of writing. In fact, writing requires a wide range of knowledge. So that's why you want to use different.
Yes.
Yeah, different approaches.
Small thing is a big problem.
But it
That's because your thesis is related to writing. So your writing should not have any grammar words and any mistakes. As mentioned, that Sittisak be careful for this because this is related to writing. Right? The example, just to example, like a page 7, line number 5. For example, just give example. This writing approaches hands, etc. And also mentioned by the page number 10. Previous researchers I don't think so. Research has to be research works, very study. And scholar, I don't think so. It should be previous research works and been reported. It should be like this. All right. So check the recovery throughout your dissertation. This is related to writing. So any errors should be found. One more thing that I'd like to ask the presenters about the integration of the writing approaches. What are you going to focus on? Actually, there are 5, right? There
Yes.
are 5, and we just only focus on 3 of it.
Yes, Professor. Because some approach have been developed and they have some similar element like the genre-based approach. The scholar who proposed this they develop from the product-based approach, so they have the same element. So if we use more than 3, it can.
Only focus on 3.
Yes, 3.
approaches.
Yes.
So I would like to have the conversation regarding this on page 16. I'm not really sure about the definition of key terms because there are 2. The first one is general key terms, all right, and the second one is specific key terms. But here on page 16, you focus on 5 approaches. So I think the definitions of key terms should be based on the current study, not general one. So here should be 3, but 5.
So, but actually, how many approaches more are you going to implement in your class?
From the first phase of the study is the analysis, and the analysis I still need to find the practical element of 5. But after when I have the result from the first phase, I can mention 3.
No. If you still confirm like this on page 10, you should change some particular thing because you can see the last paragraph of page 5. You say that the researcher is interested in conduct research to develop a writing structure based on 3 writing approaches.
Yes.
3. But if you want to use 5, you should make it clear in what phase you use 3, in what phase you should 5, you use 5 like that. Right.
Yes.
So that's okay. Let's add something else.
Yes.
So may I add because I topic state of approaches and maybe found that some because now we conduct our literature review. We just talk for the step of teaching the reason on found that just only 3, but some asking me that. So maybe we have to.
But even at some process, we have to use 5 approaches. So
Yeah.
So maybe you have everything in your hand now. Just make it clear. Right?
Yes.
But you're writing here, have something about.
Thank you very much. Is it better for you? Yeah.
Yes,
Clearer or more confused? But the thing is that exactly when you review different writing approaches, you have to, as I told you, when you have to read more recommendations for the Thai researcher. What are the weaknesses if Thai to use them? Because everything is good, but it might not work. A big low-level student, it might not be more equal student. So using Akkarapon bias by low level, then this space is not local. So teacher should elaborate more, expand or add more activity. Okay, try to right now you say 3, but actually when if you read more, you may come up with more approaches that researcher give suggestions. So don't fix that. There are 3 or 4 or 5. Okay, and for research question, when this is problem, needs always plural again. Is there okay? Number on page we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 research questions ใช่ไหมครับ
Yes,
but you have
6.
4 objectives. You have 4 research objectives ใช่ไหมครับ but you have 6 research questions. What are the additional ones? I mean, considering research questions.
Yes, for the question 1 and 2 will be in phase 1 and is in line with objective number 1. I separate the objective into questions. Yes.
Normally they should be parallel in number. Normally enough. Otherwise we have to okay. I know you can explain, okay, but at the first glance, for
at least we have the objective set to answer the questions and to answer the question. So that's why it should be parallel.
or the other way they have for big research questions, you may have there will be some questions, but maybe the same number as research.
Okay, but if you use
Because
and then for the next one we can divide into 2 steps. Maybe 3, right? But through research and then to study the things and then study the problem under number 1. So maybe we can start rolling. Then the last one maybe you converge together. Okay. And then I think that we can I forgot, so sorry. I forgot to take a look at this one. Maybe we can keep these samples, right? This population and focus on student maturing in English, right? So maybe if high university students
In the questions,
just like research.
yes.
And the research questions are too lengthy, ใช่ไหมครับ very succinct and clear นะครับ and research question number 2, what are the needs? What are the needs? Needs. The writing skills. Okay, revise the language. And what are the characteristics of this team? What are the elements or features? You may have to reconsider the integrated writing process if you want to read.
So if you like to parallel research objective with research question, you have to keep number 1, 5.3.4. Because actually 1.3.5 respond to research objective 3. So this one should be key.
Once we can identify easily that this objective answer this question.
1.3.4 should be effective names, efficiency and effective name.
What about 1.3.5?
It's about effectiveness now. Are there any differences now?
Professor, I have a question. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I have a question for 1.3.5. Can I change the question to what are the effect of? Model. Because is there any difference between the student? I use this question is follow the hypothesis.
What it can solve?
The develop instructional model.
I think
Or
I like the wording in one right but needs a little bit adjustment because it informs, okay, you have two groups in the past, so it's clear. We'll see the difference between
Oh, it's clear.
in answer the question about effectiveness.
Okay, so I keep this question.
I think, but there are many ways to write that. Actually, I don't mind, but to you can see question like this, and you can see what are the effects of it's also possible. But in your because you know when you use quasi-experimental study, that means you have control group and experimental group. This is the complicated research design. If I were you, I would keep it to show that I'm using something to show that
I see.
complicated because to show effectiveness, maybe some researchers usually want to have peer cross test, but in your case, they use two groups, which is complicated, but you show.
So it's more interesting.
Yeah, to show that this kind of study is considered complicated one.
Yes.
Not just one group pretest was test, but I just don't forget when you talk about two groups, you have to make sure that they are quite similar in their ability, so there should be some ways, okay, before you implement the experiment, okay, to show that they are quite similar in the English writing skills.
So, how do you measure efficiency? How do you measure, and how is it different from effectiveness? You also mentioned E1 and E2, and I think that this question is related to. So I want to know how do you measure the efficiency in the
Yes, after the model is developed, so I would like to ask. I would like to request the expert, okay, to check it, and then
efficiency refer to the E1
yes,
result from the process.
yes, and after the expert check it, I will bring the model to teach the student and to find the effectiveness, the efficiency. Yeah.
So how do you measure it, and what are the criteria? So I think it's quite it's not. So you have to make the question 4 and 5, right? Question 4 and 5. Yeah, clearly. So will you test or will you measure the efficiency of the model itself, or the student achievement?
The student achievement. Yes. Because we will let the student learn through the model, and they can do the test, and we can take the score from the test to calculate the E1, E2.
So you will use research exercises to
Yes,
measure.
yes,
right?
yes. During their learning, before and during their learning and after.
You mean the choice test, right?
No.
What type of test?
Yeah,
You will use
It will be the writing test and the rubric score.
Because you didn't mention, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So actually for the efficiency we test the model. Actually, efficiency is for testing innovation.
So how what data do we use to make sure that
The exercise and the post test. E1/E2 is E1 refer to the process, and then E2 refer to the products.
Yeah, that's why I wonder what instrument.
Yeah, because he did not mention about it. Actually, just the chair mentioned.
You didn't talk about this at all.
Yeah, I'm so sorry because I did not take a look for that. Actually, for chapter 3, you must be clear. So for phase 1, how many instruments, and then how to validate it. Okay, look for the validity and look for the reliability. Phase 2, phase 3, phase 4. For example, for what is it, phase 3, you have to use many, but you have to mention, for example, if you use the performance test, something like writing, right? So you have to show the grouping. And then in chapter 2, you have to mention about how to evaluate writing ability or writing skills, right? Okay, something like that.
Okay. Regarding question 5, you say that after using the instructional model, I don't think this is correct. I have to check. After they learn or not, after studying through, right?
Yes.
Through the instructional model, not using the model, and indirectly.
When we group and control group นะไม่ต้องมี test and control
Because you have only one control group, right?
Yes.
One control group.
control
No, actually, I want to correct something. Can you, sorry for the can you show us about the summary of your text, right?
Summary.
That you,
This one.
yes, right. So sorry for phase 3 must be one group, right?
Phase 3.
I told you that before. Phase 3.
Yes.
Just only one group, but for phase
This
4,
one is only
two
like
groups.
experimental group.
Yes, two just only the target group, because we want to test out the model.
Yes, Professor.
And then to make sure that the model is practical, we can test it two group at the last phase. Right?
So the pilot one group and phase 3 one group.
Phase 3 one group and phase 4 two groups.
Compare.
Yes.
So participants will be involved in every phase, right?
Maybe they are different. Actually,
They are different groups,
yeah,
but participants will be involved in every phase, right?
no, actually phase 1, maybe I mentioned we can, if possible, we can use at least, okay, the student who used to study writing course. But for phase 3, must be the student who study at the present, at the moment. And then phase 4, he expand, okay, to make sure that the model is practical more than that. Phase 3, just only one group.
Phase 3 only one group.
Yeah, phase 4, two groups.
to revise this
So if you use both phases with two groups, you will work very fast.
Yes.
Identify this for all participants. Identify this condition for participants.
Actually, he has to mention, for example, the student who study.
Yes.
Yes, that's true. The requirement is to must be needed to
Enroll.
at least one
Enroll
person.
in the course.
The process of writing.
Yes.
What are characteristics? Or what do you mean by characteristics?
the features นะ
Yeah,
feature elements
presented still wait to me.
In what page?
But in your research question on page 11, what are the characteristics? So what do you mean by characteristics?
The characteristics mean according to the instructional model approach. So before we going to develop the model, so we have to design. So when we design, we get the result from phase 1 analysis, the need analysis, and the design we will get the characteristic of the model.
Yes, so what are characteristics? Do you mean components? Or
Yes, is the objective, the goal, the components. Yeah.
So can we use components or attributes or characteristics? Which one is better?
components or feature of the
But we have to make You have to make it clear.
Clear.
Make the term clear.
The-
But that's we have to define this word.
No, actually, we can mention somewhere where appropriate. To me, at first, I thought characteristic refer to phases and steps. So phases are more general, and within each phase, right, there are a number of steps, which are more practical, which are more clear, implementable. So your characteristic may include phases and steps and components. Okay. So what do you think? Just teacher can be what is it? So the general, yeah, the more general term. And components, phases, and steps. So you have to make this term clear. So when you report the result,
Yes.
you can include how many components there are, how many phases there are, and how many steps in each phase there are, right? Okay. So you have to make it clear.
Yes.
How to order.
Yeah. And order is also important.
So
Sequence is very important.
yeah, the sequences. And what is the suitable features?
Yeah, I like the word features. The features can refer to components, phases, and steps.
Actually, it's not open. I think that we should use similar terms in terms in objective to avoid confuse. So if you use different like characteristic, I think question number 1.8.1, we would like to make it similar to what objective. Number two. Actually, for this characteristic, just like the first draft of develop instruction model. And then, yes, something like that. And then after that, we for phase 3. This is we use it and then we develop again. And then the last one, when we finish. So what we are trying to do is in order to make it clear, we should define this term under it. Then the key term that will be easier for the readers to understand better. All right. Otherwise, it makes us confused what exactly.
Make your key terms and your definition clear. And I think many of them still conceptual, highly conceptual.
Two or three more term additional.
อย่างเช่น defining, for example, designing, right? Designing or devising performance objective, right? Can be one step of the second phase, for example. You have to make them those
To make it clearer for design before development.
Okay,
Yes, okay, just on this, because we normally talk about population samples, we have different phases, you cannot say population sample student values, just to talk about different phases, and also independent variable. Independent variable, are you looking at only students' achievement in writing or also their satisfaction?
But do you think this variable contradict with the research question? Because you say that instructional model is a independent variable, but at the same time, there are some questions about the model.
So actually, actually, just the chair mentioned, he has to mention this phase. Not here. Phase 1, maybe instructional model can be dependent or can be independent itself. If they are on the different.
I'm sorry. Actually, I mentioned in each phase. Yeah.
No, you have to mention me first.
In chapter 1.
Yes. But not more detail.
On 3 chapters. On 3 phases.
The instructional model is independent variable. So why do you have reservations about the instructional design? Question should be related to only exchange method has to explain what is in this phase. For example, phase 2 design development and design. So instructional model will be yeah. So but for phase 3, instructional
Do we have to mention it in yes? I think you told me.
So I will put information of 4 phases here about the variables. So
Or maybe in general.
Instructional model can be different variable. Right?
Yeah.
Because if you just say that student writing ability is the only given variable, but your research question should be related to only this variable. That is my point. Yes.
You can just a summary writing. Separate. This is the first phase. The second one, to separate each phase.
And describe and explain.
I think it will be clearer if I explain all 4 phases.
Satisfaction, you're looking at the student satisfaction as well.
Yes,
Right.
yes.
But it means that your overarching objective, you want to, the main thing is in your developing such model. So that, okay, finally, it is an independent variable. Because what you propose this one, so we have and do manipulation, treatment. The treatment is a model, but before the final stage, before implement, we have to go through systems. And any thing else for chapter 1? I think we talked about 1 3 together,ใช่ไหมครับ Okay, but we can add later for chapter 2. Okay, chapter 2, I think you lecture include teaching writing in Thailand. And I think it's important to review characteristics of successful LT writers. Characteristics of unsuccessful LT writers. Because want to see their problems. Once you know these are the characteristics of successful writers, what is still missing in Thai students who are poor in English? Writing process. Can you review assessment of writing? But you miss course design and course development. You are in, I think you should review this. And suddenly you in chapter 3 you use the concept of FD, analysis, development, but you didn't talk about that before that. You know, whatever you touch on, you should do. You decide what's design, but you don't have to use anything. Okay, but you learn how to design what's this.
Yes.
And then review. And also, when you come up with, it's quite confusing on, the conceptual framework on page 98. You already very briefly, so I'd like you to elaborate on, when you talk about conceptual framework on page 98. For example, in the second stage of the study, the writing approaches will be reviewed. Identify the benefits and drawbacks. The selected step, element, characteristic will be the outstanding benefit. I don't know, it seems to me that here we have to make a summary. In the first stage, problems be identified by with whom and how. Okay, whenever you finish this one, we can use this information in different places. So, autonomous, when we read it all, we understand. And for on test 100, I think instead of using the term benefits, outstanding practical benefits, whether you use reference, and again, that's the characteristic of the instruction model. So you have to change it here. Whatever term you come up with after you have consulted with your supervisors. The benefits, yeah. When we talk benefits, I think everything is beneficial, right? So, but suddenly you extract something,
some element, yes.
If we have decided to come up with the acronym, so the column upper right hand side, you should use acronym. But if you are happy with this, that's fine. Yeah, I consider to be additional comments.
On page 18, when you define the term writing, I think your definition is right there. You tend to focus on very minor aspect of writing. In fact, if you want to keep this session, you should define writing in relation to the approaches that you propose in your study. And I'm sure that each approach tends to define writing in different ways. In your first section, you can focus more on the what's it. It's quite narrow, and your definition does not reflect the nature of writing approach. For example, in genre-based approach, they tend to define writing as a genre that is goal-oriented and social process. So you see it's different from what you did in this part, and you tend to focus on very linguistic aspect. Right? I think that is quite narrow. So I suggest that you define writing in relation to writing approaches. And you should, when you review, instead of focusing on writing problem like motivation or something, you should focus on the required knowledge, types of knowledge required in writing. I think if you review, those things, it would benefit the study so that you can understand writing better. Writing is not related to only grammatical aspect, but there are many types of knowledge that students need to have. And on page 23, you said that punctuation problem, capitalization problem, and spelling problem are cognitive problems. So why do you describe them as cognitive problems? On page 23. I think instead of focusing on very small aspect of writing, you should focus on things like students cannot cannot think of the reader when they write. They cannot use language appropriately in context, for example. So instead of focusing on very small things like capitalization problem, punctuation problem, and spelling problem. So you should focus more on more global aspects of writing.
Yes.
Can you answer my question? Why did you describe punctuation problem, capitalization problem as cognitive problem?
This one I review from the researchers' papers.
So do you agree with them? So what about focusing on problems that can be addressed by the writing?
So it's possible that we can consider this approach just mentioned, and then after that we have to make a summary to bring, for example, dissertation that we focus on process, something like that.
But here, he tended to focus a lot and then focus more on linguistics.
Yes, because one thing is called is master degree. Because it's about
and you didn't touch on reader, student need to understand the reader and the writer.
The audience analysis, something like that.
To implement a genre-based approach, and a genre-based approach emphasizes
audience.
audience and social anxiety.
And
Student readiness, I don't think you have to review this stuff.
So I have to
practice, you can remove
to make it in line with the writing approach.
Make your review relevant to and when you review writing approaches on page 28, you should focus on number one, key features of each approach, strong point or benefits, weak points, and teaching and learning guidelines that suggested by previous study, for example, and teach student or teacher role. So you can focus on this detail when you review each approach. Do you think he has to review writing assessment?
He has, right?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Do you think
How
he has
to
especially as writing at the end, and because we also assess it by using yes. 77.
Yes.
7. So you do that in a city. I can read this one
because it should be
he said that he said he want to meet that you shouldn't reveal, right?
I think because
They should be part of the. It should be part of the.
we cannot see from chapter 3, right? Yeah, that's why, okay, because Sittisak.
What about how to teach English? I think it's very broad. How to teach English.
I'm gonna say.
So why don't we just focus on
Very
Because PLT, right? It's still this school is not, but actually I would like to go this item.
which one?
Education methodology is
Because
Do you think, Adam, do you think we can integrate in this part with into writing approaches? So that we can stay focused on writing approaches.
because now we
2.6, 2.6.
So one thing I would like to ask is relevant to your dissertation title because you focus on high university students. So what was the place I want you to add? Maybe writing approaches in Thailand context or anything like that. So it can show your perspective.
that's why I suggest teaching writing at university level.
Teaching writing in Thailand.
Yeah.
More pictures of this.
2.1
Move it to 2.1.
Always go back to context, so that we know theoretical and conceptual knowledge of them in the context. What do we do? So we make connections.
I think it's very basic one that you have Charlie. That is the way to give a citation, take citation. So if you cite in your context, it must be also essential that the references, for example, page 18, Pongpuehee, not found in photography at all. So a lot, a lot of words in this, but not give or present at the end of your report. Oh, I see. One more thing is the year. The year, for example, like a Ryan in the extension 1991, but at back 1988, something like that. So you have to check it carefully.
Now, one is about writing.
Yes.
I think there are many parts that tend to be repeated. So if it's possible, you should review your Islamic literature around issues and claims. You start with claims and issues and then support claims and issues with empirical evidence. There are many parts in the and on page 32 and I thought I have to more. On page from page 52. Yeah. So most of the information is from your own words, right? Right on.
I tried to paraphrase.
Most on the content is from your own words, right? So you have to be careful because you use a lot of big words that are quite subjective, like significantly, effectively, critically, and creatively, and all of the words are quite hard to measure. Yeah. So you have to be careful when you mention them.
On page 32.
From the 52.
52.
Yeah, 52, 53. So he uses a lot of big words and words that are quite value. It's quite value added, right? Words like naturally, effectively, significantly, effectively, critically, truly, solely, and powerful.
Yeah, he's a writing expert. He uses library language.
You know, more those words are quite hard to measure and quite, let's say, highly subjective.
I will paraphrase to hedging it.
Did you use ChatGPT?
In some process, like just like outline or to find some ideas that hard for Google. Yeah.
So this means how to use the ChatGPT.
Okay, and one in this chapter, you highlighted the weaknesses of
Approach.
Right. For example, you said that in genre-based approach, students tend to lack creativity, right, when they write, right? Did you mention that?
Yes, I review from the
Yeah, you
literature.
mentioned that, right? In genre-based approach, and you mentioned that using this approach, the students tend to lack creativity because they have to follow and generate
The model tech.
yeah, or rigid structure and patterns, right? And you mentioned that weakness, right? But my question is, which approach can address that weakness?
Actually, the genre base is has been developed from products, yeah, according to the scholar who proposed this, and is appropriate for the student who writing at the beginning or the intermediate, and then when we I would like to make it more creative, we can let them write more by themselves to find more ideas. But
which approach can address this problem? Which one?
I'm not sure yet now.
So my suggestion is that when you try to highlight the negative aspect of
Approach.
yeah, each approach, make sure that those negative aspects can be addressed by another approach.
Which one can help?
Yeah,
Like this. Okay.
so you can choose how to present the negative aspect of the approaches.
The strength, the weakness, and then
focus on those that can be compensated
and
or
which one can
addressed by another approach. Because you mentioned creativity, I don't see any. I don't see which approach can address this problem.
I think this is the point that you should include
This is
in
the
your
core.
in your approach. Right?
Yeah. That's why we must be taught.
So when we review approaches already, I think we should have some idea.
And sometimes it depends on types of essay. Right?
Yeah.
If you use the narrative, you can click,
And
I
one
can say
thing,
support creativity.
That-
Right?
yes.
Yeah, highlight the problem and highlight how those problems can be addressed or compensated by another approach.
After I have analyzed, right?
yes,
No, during your implementation.
yeah, actually, okay, because you did not mention about the types of essay that you implement.
You mentioned.
Yeah, no, how many times?
Five.
Actually,
Five.
Now I mention and make it relating to essay cost writing. So there will be narrative, descriptive, cause effect, comparison, and persuasive. Yes. Yes.
We will also be implemented simultaneously or in sequence. You
Each.
mentioned that they begin to break, right?
Yes.
So we'll the
Okay. There will be the step of teaching, the step, and it will the step will have their own order. That step 1 should be like a if it based on the writing process, it will start from the brainstorming ideas or pre-writing stage. Yes. And after that will be the outline and writing and revise and editing. But when the outstanding element have been selected to the integrated approach, there will be the step that more than that. But it still focus on the writing process, that the content come first and after that write and then revise and edit. Yes.
Yeah, on page 54, you mentioned that teachers should start teaching writing with one approach and then adapt it by combining the strengths of all the approaches.
Yes, that's the.
This means that one approach should be introduced after one after
Right.
another.
Right.
Right. But in the next sentence, in the same paragraph, teaching writing approaches separately, teaching writing approaches separately very often result in unbalanced L2 writing format. I think the two statements tend to contradict. On page 54, in the last paragraph, line 2 and 5, around line 2 and 5.
54, right?
Yeah, 54. 54. As books.
Oh yes, this one is seen that when the teacher teach by using the writing approach separately, it's like a use only single writing approach at a time to teach the student in the class. Like a not integrate or not mix, like a use only one single approach.
One after another.
Yes, not integrate.
So what about the keyword in your title? If you get my point, I might be confused.
Do you mean that the portion of each approach?
Yeah. Portions or step and the basic, which approach should be introduced first, which one should be more general, which one should cover all the steps in the process of writing. I want to know that.
Actually, I think it's depend on the step of the writing approach, the feature of the writing approach. Yes, when the students start with the collecting ideas, they use the technique like brainstorming, and after that, like in genre, they read the text in their field, in the field that they are going to write about, and then after that they will learn like the model text, and then I mean it will depend on the purpose of each step in the approach. Yes. Yes.
So it means that you create your own approach, right? And
It-
then you use the same.
It will be the
from
yes.
the beginning to the end.
Yes, it will be the approach that helps students, because, for example, if they don't have more ideas, or they lack of the knowledge in the topic that they are going to write about, they can start with the theme of content-based writing. They can do the mini research. They can ask the expert about that topic. They can find more information, and then when they write, they have to know the element of genre. Yeah, what the rhetorical, what the structure that they will use in each move, something like this. Yes. So but there will be one approach that is the core or the main.
which one is the person tend to play more roles, right? In the competition?
I have to analyze it first. Yes.
Just maybe at the end we can see a bit of portion of each.
Yeah, you have to make this one. So that we can
But
maintain that your
but-
approach is
Yeah.
very integration.
but I get what you mean, Ajahn.
Yeah.
You would like me to explain the step more.
Just
You have to
why,
make them clear.
just why I
Which
want-
one play more role, which one play what's it less?
But I think it seems like he makes the concept of each approach.
but just why maybe okay different genre, different essay can use different approach. The portion I mean portion, right?
So you have to make sure that when you when you give increase and process, you have to make sure which one you give them and which approach they.
So you mean one thing is that different type of essay require different
Maybe
different
just
approach.
why we call R&D have to develop, have to observe, have to take a look for the problem and you use it.
So you have to make it clear, I mean, in every genre, types of content, which approach, which approach play more role, which one play more least role.
Yes.
So you have to be clear. What the mind.
Do not use just the same portion.
Yeah, maybe.
Because when you teach them, you know, and then you adapt for the next phase, right? It's actually for phase 4.
Yeah, and make sure that when you give them a pre-test, make sure that your test is valid in a way that they get enough practice and then they do the test in a valid way. Right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And we have to be careful if he use process technique, right? Maybe he cannot evaluate the student like that products. Because it's the process approach. The point may come from the task in each process. So we have to
We have to make them
So
very
so the assessment rubric or the test or the assessment that give the score should be on the both process and products.
Why do you have? Yeah, this is very important. So why do you have to integrate genre? What is it? Process genre? Why do you have to integrate this approach with process and genre approaches?
Why don't I pick it to use? You mean?
Yeah, why don't you just use process genre?
Okay. Because
Process genre is already an
integrated of two approach.
So why do you have to integrate this integrated approach into what's it, the component that already integrated in the approach? That's why.
Actually, yeah, process genre approach have been integrated, and some scholar mention is from 2 process and genre. Some scholar mention is from 3 product process genre. But yeah, we can use it, and yeah, I have reviewed some study in Thailand, and some use process genre. Yeah, and it's very helpful for the student. And clearly, the researcher, one of the student in Mahasarakham, yeah, she used process genre as combination of process genre, and one in another one is the doctoral thesis. She used the process genre modify. She adds some detail in process genre, and yeah, it's very effective to help the student. But here I would like to integrate more because I would like to, according to the research, yeah, most study found that the student lack of motivation, or they don't have knowledge, more ideas to write. So I think it's more than genre. It's maybe I think with my own only, but I think the other approach can help the student like content based and process together. But genre is very important for the student to understand the purpose and to know the rhetorical pattern to write is very helpful for that. But for the idea to write, I still wait to content writing. Yes. So I would like to analyze more, Professor.
To make a connection, you review a lot.
Yes.
Sometimes we ask reviewers, you know, why we need this. Next, summary of but you work hard, we know you must strength.
So you know a lot, 140 wrote a lot. But at the first draft, he okay sent to me maybe 300 pages.
You ask him to remove.
More information is better than less information.
Actually, chapter 1, we got maybe 50 pages. It's hard.
But if you have
any requirement on the number of pages, any requirement?
No.
Somewhere
Why?
you enjoy, right? You enjoy writing.
that's when we do something about writing research. And anything else? Or I think we talked for chapter 3 now, but if you have something to add, I mean, chapter 3 in each phase is very important now. Okay, you have to think about how to write data, the participant.
So, okay, you have to separate in each phase, right? Phase 1, okay, and then sample or target group, and then implement how to construct the data analysis. Actually, now you mix together.
Yeah. Actually, I want to say, I mean, in chapter 3, the volume main phase, develop phase,
This can be
and research phase.
This can be
Easy for readers to understand.
But you can keep, okay, this can actually just we know, okay, we can merge it. For example, the first phase is development, many steps.
Yeah.
Right, and then for the next one, implementation.
Yeah.
2 or 3 steps. This can be, right? Or which one do you prefer, Sittisak? Do you prefer 4 phases or 2 phases?
I would like Ajahn Atikhom to talk about that you mentioned that Addi and system model by should be inside
you
only.
can use Addi to develop the model, but when you organize your content in the third chapter, you can have only 2 main phases, and under 2 main phases, you might have just smaller steps or spaces.
For example, 80, right? 80 is what kind of R&D. The first 3 letters can be under phase 1.
Yeah.
A and assessment, and then design and develop under phase 1. Okay, and then phase 2, evaluate. Implementation and then evaluation.
Yes.
Okay, this is active A, B, B, I, E. Okay, so this can be 2 phases or 3 phases.
Maybe
4
3 phases too, not survey, construct, and then evaluate.
But
If you read, you can find. Because we apply R&D in the LTP,
Yes.
so it depends on the purpose. Because some researchers, okay, they don't intend to, to implement. They just okay, it depends on you.
and one thing, okay, so maybe we can talk because actually we separate or we divide into 4 phases because of the objective. Because we want to answer the objective or answer the question. Okay, and when we present the results, we have to follow each phase.
I will send you an article similar to you.
Thank you, Kap.
Okay, I think she used 3 phases. So anyway, it's not a fixed formula out there. They have used 3 of it. Depends on your research purposes.
Yes.
On the full scale, but R&D actually is not a core research design in PLT. But we can apply. Application means you can use part of it. In chapter 3, yes, chapter 3. I'm not sure if you we have to include lesson and teaching and learning activity in the third chapter. Actually, it has to. It has
And you have to give more explanation, you give more explanation and description on your pre-test and post-test.
Yeah.
Sittisak, can you show us one example of column is instrument of fraction or something like
Yes.
that? Because it seems that you lack of in each time. So
When you're going to have only 2 raters, right?
Not
Raters, right?
not 2 more than 2.
Raters.
Uh,
2 raters.
I mentioned 2 in here.
actually, less
I
than
think
3.
but exclude
It will be 3 or 5.
3.
What page?
But you should not include you.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
as the rater.
Not include me.
No, you say, by the researcher. The student essay will be.
Oh, I mean, I just take a look at it. Like,
so it can be 2 ways. The first one, the researcher can
Usually a 3 rater.
to read outside.
This can be free, and then maybe not the researcher, or you can include the first one can be the researcher individual, maybe 40 or something like that. But maybe how about your suggestion? Free excludes the researcher or include? So
So
free.
the objectives to enhance objectivity of scoring.
Okay.
So it can be by as if the
Yeah.
okay.
You tend to give more score on the
Full score.
Yeah.
So for instruction model, for example, you like lesson plan as well, because your step will be in the lesson plan, is it correct? For instructional model.
Instructional model.
Right?
Lesson plan.
Should describe, should include performance objective, assessment, activity, or materials that are used in each lesson.
Yes.
This one we call just the second one we call features, right? Features.
Component. Features.
And in lesson plan, do I have to mention the teacher role and student role?
Yeah, you can do that. Because in each approach tends to require different level of students and teachers involvement. Yes.
Ajahn Atikhom, do you think different type of essay is require different structure and feature?
Yes, of course.
So if I do all 5 types, I have to rearrange it to make it appropriate for each type.
Especially if you use genre based. And
Yeah, surely, sure, I will use it.
It's claimed that essay tend to have distinct lexical grammatical features. Each essay its own distinct linguistic features, grammatical features.
So in chapter 2, I have to explain more about each characteristic of each type.
Okay.
ถ้าจะให้พี่แนะนำตรงที่แนะนำตรงรีวิวรีเสิร์ชนะครับที่ผมอยากให้โฟกัสที่พอยต์มากกว่านะคือโฟกัสที่อิชชูที่เดียวกันแทนที่เราจะนำเสนอการเป็นชิ้นๆSo you might focus on all one aspect of writing. For example, you review 3 studies and you find that these 3 studies tend to focus on process of writing. So you should focus on that aspect instead of going over individual publication of that. We did something like this. So I suggest that we organize this review around issues or claims instead of going over individual publication one by one in separation.
It should synthesize.
Yeah, you should synthesize. For example, if you want something, and you might focus something like this. So if you start your review, around claims, so you might say something like teaching genre enables students to control the use of lexical grammatical features to make meaning in appropriate context, for example. So organize your review around issues and or claims, right? Instead of focusing on one individual application one by one in separation.
Okay, I get.
For example, you might say something like, the study showed that genre-based approach tend to encourage students to be aware of leadership and authorship, for example. So you can start with a claim like this when you review previous studies.
I have to intro.
And those claims should be directly relevant to this.
As I told you, I focus on implementing that. I earlier mentioned that
Yes.
ครับนักศึกษาครับthis week in the room นะครับreview slides นะครับ on your proposal whether you will ask
เพื่อนให้กำลังใจอาจารย์เพื่อนแล้วก็จะนำเสนอคนชอบฉันเสนอคนที่สี่สองไม่เร็วเลย
ก็ผมมีคนนะครับถ้าเกิดว่ามีผ่านก็ด้านบนเป็นไม่ได้มีครับไม่ผ่านที่ด้านล่างนะครับ
ที่ไม่เสียดายไอ้ตัวสาวเกิดอะไรก็ง่ายเลยเนี่ยนี่อะไรแซ่บเลย
ไม่ต้องการพับทุกหน้า
ไม่ได้ไม่มาขนาดนี้แต่โอเคนิดหน่อยแค่เดี๋ยวต้องจะเอกเสร็จต้องให้เขาแก้ไขตามคุณนี่คืออยากอ่านก็ได้นะมันไปใจเขาอ่านไม่นี่แหละงานมีเยอะเชื่อเป็นลูกศิษย์อันนี้เป็นผลผลิตจากธุรกิจ
คนเดียว
แต่ถ้าเป็นศึกษาธุรกิจศึกษาตอนนี้ที่จะทำรีวิวเนี่ยที่น่าดีนะมันรวบรวมชื่อชื่อทุกคนเลย
ก็เป็นงานที่แบบมันค่อนข้างแตกต่างต้องละเอียดนิดนึงตัวอย่างให้ดูมันไม่เยอะนะเอาในด้านภาษาเลยต้องมีความละเอียดนิดนึงนะครับ คิดว่าทำได้ใช้สายคนที่ขยันแล้วนะที่เขารีวิวเยอะแต่มันไม่มีที่เป็น analysis information
เรื่องแค่แต่ไม่ได้อ่านว่าเรื่องที่เก่าบทที่หนึ่ง50 หน้าเราจะตัดออกให้
เดี๋ยวเราดีเช่นจะประชุมต่อเดี๋ยวผมญาติเพื่อการตอบว่าผ่านเนาะแล้วก็แก้ไขตามกรรมการนะอะไรนะครับ
ใช่ความคิดครับ
ยืมแล้ว
แต่เรื่องจะเป็นสอนบริษัทเราให้ทุกคนทำอะไรครับก็จากวันนี้นะครับไม่ได้อยู่คนที่อยู่บนที่ไหนแต่ว่าไม่ได้อยู่ที่นี่ก็ไปต่างอำเภออีกที่นึงไม่แค่ที่ว่าจะที่เรา
นั้นชื่อเสร็จเลยครับ
ไม่รอเชิญนะครับ
เสื้อผ้าอย่างนั้นต่อไป
อันนี้ไม่ได้เขียนอะไร
ก็อะไร
เขียนว่าตามเข้าสู่ไม่เขียนว่าใส่ว่าตามพูดในตัวเลข
ก็คือI said good morning before you presented right now good afternoon นะครับผม Okay, thank you for your presentation and your interesting presentation นะครับ It's very common for students okay to make lots of revisions
Yes.
but it doesn't mean that your work is not good because your work is quite different นะครับ so there are lots of things that you need to do based on our complete comment and feedback okay นะครับ so we agree that you pass นะครับผม Is there something something นะ
Yes, I would like to say thank you very much, Associate Professor Dr. Pragasit Sitthitikul, as the chair of the committee. Yes, your Associate Professor Dr. Akkarapon Nuemaihom, Associate Assistant Professor Dr. Atikhom, my beloved advisor, Assistant Professor Dr. Nawamin Prachanant, and Dr. Saowarot Ruangphaisan. Yes, yes. Your suggestion and your great support is very much appreciated, and I'm really happy and I'm really delighted. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.